for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or a cigar aficionado, we have something for everyone, bringing you the best interviews, cigar reviews, and weekly giveaways. So grab yourself a cigar.
It's time to light 'em up.
Hey guys, welcome to Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones, and this week we're going to have a fellow cigar aficionado on the show with us, Bryant Falconer. Anyway, he's one of the guys I hang out with at the Leaf, and he's going to come in. We're going to talk about cigar shops. We're going to talk about an experience of what a newcomer to the cigar community can expect, the best way for them to join the cigar community, and just let them know what it's like to be a part of the cigar community. You guys that already know, you know it's the best brotherhood that there is. And so we want to teach other people how that they can become a part of this great community. And then we reach out to Mark over at Select Draw Cutters. They're going to partner up with us this week and provide some cutters for our giveaway. If you haven't seen them, run over to my Instagram account, run to the webpage. I'll have them a link that you can check out their cutters. It's really a unique cutter that looks like a bishop from a chess piece. You unscrew the bottom and it's got these 3 sharp prongs. And I tell you what, I was skeptical when I first saw it. I was thinking, how could you possibly get a good draw with just these little prongs? But I was shocked. So I loved them so much. I reached out to them, and the great owner over there at Mark was super friendly and just really gracious to give us some cutters to give away to you guys. Of course, after the interview, we will also do the Cigar Talk trivia question. And of course, I'll give you my cigar of the week. And so stick around with us, and we will be right back after a quick word from our sponsor. Hey, welcome back to Cigar Talk. This is your host, Rob Jones. We have a special guest with us today, Mr. Brian Falconer. How you doing today, Brian?
Hey, I'm doing good, bro. How you doing?
Awesome, man. Glad to have you here in the studio. I'll introduce you guys. This is Brian Falconer, and oops, I said it wrong. Brian Falconer, and he's one of the cigar aficionados down at the Leaf here in Abilene, Texas. He smokes a lot of Macanudos. He smokes a lot of Monte Cristos. He also smokes a wide variety of different cigars, and he tries some that I recommend, and then he recommends some to me that I don't have anything to do with. No. Anyway, thank you for coming on the show today.
Hey, no problem, bro.
So, one of the things we wanted to touch on today was, the whole experience of when you first start smoking cigars. You might not know where to go. Let me turn that up just a little bit. So you might not know where to go. And so most people Google cigar shop, and then they find a shop, and then they show up, and we know how that experience is, especially a first timer.
Oh yeah. I started off in the Army smoking. Like I said, I hung out with NCOs, which are non-commissioned officers, sergeants, E5s, E6, E7s, and they introduced me to cigars. They sat me down and they gave me a little bit of an understanding. What I give to new smokers is don't be scared to ask questions.
Yeah, that's the biggest part.
Oh yeah, drop those walls and open your mouth.
I know what my first experience in the cigar shop was.
Ooh.
As a cigar enthusiast, I had been to several cigar shops, but coming to a cigar shop wanting to be able to hang out at a cigar shop, that's a little bit different, because how many times we see guys, they come in and get cigars, and then bam, they're gone.
Yep.
So getting to that place where you can hang out and relax, that's a whole different level of cigar smoking.
Oh yeah, it's about dropping those walls.
Yeah.
People come in with an expectation, and you don't know anyone in there. It's the first time you're walking into that shop, and then you I don't want to say you're scared, but you have walls up. You walk in, you don't know anybody, you won't talk. You walk to the tobacconist and you say, okay, I want a cigar. Okay, now his job is to query you to find out what you like, where you are. Are you a newbie?
To qualify you.
Yeah.
And so, and part of that is, though, you come in, we don't care. We hear trains all the time, don't we?
All the time.
Anyway, when you come in, ask the tobacconist, hey, man, I'm new. That's the best thing you can say is I'm new.
Yeah, because now he knows what to do and how to do it.
Right. And if you smoked cigars before, you can say, hey, I've smoked this and this. I like this or I didn't like this. And that information gives him what to go on for helping you pick another cigar that's suited for you.
Most definitely.
And so that's the best thing you can do if you're picking out a new cigar or you're wanting to try cigars. But if you're trying to like get a cigar home, which I recommend to everyone.
Yes.
Once you get a cigar, don't leave.
Yeah, sit down and open up a conversation, because that will enlighten you to a point, to an atmosphere, a different environment. The leaf, to me, like I said, the first time I found out about the leaf, I was at work, leaving the county, driving downtown. I saw the sign on the side of the building, the leaf, and I was like, "Oh, the leaf." Two things went through my mind. Okay, is this a
head shop or a cigar shop?
Or a cigar shop.
Right.
Now, if it's a head shop, I don't want to see him walking in it because I work for the state.
Right.
But when I walked up, I looked, I said, oh, those are all sticks, because the first thing I saw were the pipes. The meerschaums. I was like, okay, this is a real cigar shop. So I walked in. There were 4 gentlemen sitting there, and then I was met by Jacob, who used to work there at
super nice guy. Super nice guy.
And he queried me. He started asking those questions. And like I explained to him, I've smoked for years, but I didn't have a home in Abilene. And that's what I was looking for, was a home in Abilene.
Right.
And then we sat down and we talked for about 15 minutes, and then he took me to the humidor. And then we went in the humidor. He said, well, what is your favorite? I said, well, I started off with Monte Cristos. I've always been a Monte Cristo man. So that's what I've had. And then he opened my eyes to different types, different smokes, different cuts, different leaves, different wraps. And I was like, okay. What it really did was open my eyes to him, because I was like, here's this young guy, he has some knowledge. He knows what he's talking about.
Right.
And then I met Bill. Totally different side of the spectrum.
Yeah, not so friendly, in a fun way.
In a fun way.
Right.
But sitting talking to Bill, it gave me another understanding, because he loved cigars.
He pipe tobacco.
And his pipe tobacco, he would sit back. He kept telling me, Brian, you're going to get a pipe before I sell the shop. I was like, yeah, right. Needless to say, he got me in one before he sold the shop.
Yeah, that's true. So,
but I sat back there.
And I'll tell you how smooth Bill is. I'm going to interrupt you just for a second. I'm just like a cigar guy.
Yes, sir.
Bill sold me an Ashton pipe, which, if anybody knows, and this is my first pipe, okay? Mm-hmm. My first pipe was a $350 pipe. Mm-hmm. That's how smooth Bill is.
And it's him. It's that ex-pastor in him.
Well, right,
he
right.
took you in. He made you a part of the flock, and he said, okay, I'm going to give him what I want.
Well, and the funny thing is, it's not that he was like trying to sell me pipe, because he's too smooth for that.
Oh, yeah.
He just shows me pipes that he knows I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, I got to have that one. So anyway, let's get back to it. So when you come in and you get a cigar, instead of dashing out the door, like at the Leaf, one of my big offerings to new guys is, hey, man, do you drink coffee? And they say, yeah. I go, well, you just found the best coffee in town. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the ways I try to get people to stay, is if they'll get a cup of coffee, then you hang out.
You sit down, you hang out, you're drinking your coffee.
And now you enjoy both.
As you sit down, smoke your stick, drink your coffee, and have conversations, it becomes a different environment. You become a part of the community.
Right. Because, and I'm guilty of exactly what we're saying not to do, because I came in and I seen Gary sitting at the table smoking a 40-inch digger. I mean, I'm exaggerating. I think it's about an 8-inch,
yep.
But an 8x60 digger, and he's wearing some Jacques Cousteau hat,
the
with this
newsboy
ponytail, and with his glasses on, and he's looking like he's researching something. And I'm like, man, this dude, he's like a professional cigar smoker. He makes me feel real intimidated.
But then you talk to him,
and then I talk to him and get to know him, and it's like, oh, he's just a regular guy like the rest of us.
Regular guy.
So that was the biggest step. And once I sat down and started smoking a cigar, I mean,
the walls start coming down.
The walls come down, and now it's a second home for me.
Yeah, it's a community.
And you know what's funny is, I don't know if you know this, but when I started smoking cigars at the Leaf, for the first 6 months. Before that, I had never drank coffee ever. And
I cannot believe that.
I know, right? Because I drink so much coffee
now.
And so
every time you're in there,
I drink 2 or 3, 4 or 5 cups.
No, cups. You drink pots.
Right.
You drink pots.
And that's what I tell a lot of people who tell me they don't drink coffee, but they smoke cigars. I'm like, put the two together. Put the two together.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, after I started drinking coffee there, I mean, you got cigars, you got coffee, you got conversation. I didn't ever need to leave.
And that's what happens. You don't want to leave.
Right. Well, it's because it's your second family now.
It becomes a community. It's somewhere where you can go and people of like mind, you can sit down and you can have a conversation.
Or not like mine.
Or not like mine.
And still have a
conversation and respect their ideas as they respect yours.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it. You sit there and I'm telling you, it's my place. I had been searching for a place since I moved to Texas. All I had was Austin when I went to managers meetings and Harker Heights when I went to my fraternity meetings, which is Kappa Lambda Chi, Military Fraternity Incorporated.
Little plug there.
Got to. But when I found my home in Abilene, it just took me away. It took me away because that's where if I'm not at work, at home, at church, you can find me at the Leaf.
Well, and I'll tell you this. Before I started hanging out at the Leaf, I wanted to leave Abilene.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to move. I thought this town sucked.
Because it had nothing for me.
Right. Because I don't go to bars.
No.
I don't go to clubs.
Not me neither.
I don't play golf. I mean, when I say I don't play, I might play once or twice a year. And when I say play golf, I mean I hack around.
You out there tearing the course.
Yeah. So,
divot here, divot
I mean,
there.
it's just, I don't have any other hobbies other than smoking cigars.
And guns.
Well, that's not a hobby, though. That's a collection. You know what I mean?
I just love it, though. The Leaf became my third home because I had home church, and then that became my third home. I love everybody in there. There are differing ideals. There are differing mindsets. There are different people. But when you're in there, in that cigar shop, you have one thing in common, and that's the cigar, first of all.
Absolutely.
The second thing is now conversation.
Well, we all, especially when you're going to a shop in your hometown.
Oh, yes.
You have a lot of things in common, like, hey, how come the city's not fixing the road on South 1st Street? Or why do they have everything tore? You know what I mean? You do have some commonality there. So even if you're not on the same page politically,
there's still some commonality there.
Right. Even on your view of religion or any of those things, there's still some commonality there.
And it all comes down to that cigar, that stick.
That's why so many people talk about the weather.
Oh, yes.
We all have that in common.
Especially here.
Oh, man.
I never knew that there was a religion for the weather until I got here.
Right. Well, I was up, where was I? Oh, I was up in Fort Worth yesterday, and we were talking to a mixologist from Chicago on the show I was on yesterday, and she was talking about how crazy the weather there is, and we were like, it's pretty crazy here. I mean, we don't have that extreme temperature of minus 30, 40, but we do have the swing of it's 50 one day and 30 the next.
Oh, we could go back to just 2 days ago when it was 98 and then the next day it was 50.
Right.
I come from Illinois. I mean, I'm from East St. Louis. We get both extremes, 100 degrees to the minus 30s. But to have it in the same day just blows my mind. And that is a conversation you can have while sitting down, smoking you a stick and drinking you a cup of coffee, and it'll take you hours.
Hey, well, that's what I told her. I said in 1995, me and my wife were driving to Dallas from Lubbock, and at the halfway point, it snowed 18 inches in 3 hours. I'm not kidding, man. And the Red Cross showed up, started putting up tents.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. We ended up turning around and going back home, but what should have been an hour and a half ended up being like 6 hours.
To go back home.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And that's another thing that enthralls me with Texas. You can
It's
drive
big.
You can drive 10 hours and still haven't left the state of Texas.
Yeah, because I actually pulled it up to go from El Paso to
Texarkana,
Texarkana is
yeah.
12 and a half hours.
12 and a half hours. You know, I could be back home in East St. Louis in 12 hours. That's going through 3 states.
It's crazy.
But I love it. That's the atmosphere of the Leaf. The ability to sit down and have conversations, to come together.
Right.
Come together.
So, yeah, this whole conversation we just had got off track. I realize that. But that's what happens when you're hanging out at a cigar shop.
Yes,
you just kind of sit back and talk about whatever. Now, the other thing is when you're at the cigar shop, you actually build relationships with your counterparts, your fellow cigar aficionados, the new guys. You take them under your wing.
That's correct.
It really becomes like family. And I'll give an example. I guess it's probably been about a month ago, maybe a little bit longer. One of the guys that comes to our shop, he's a young guy, and he's one of the new guys.
Yes.
We all
I
know
you're
Matthew.
talking about Matthew.
And, actually, Matthew was supposed to be on this show, and he got sick. And so, but before that, I guess it's been about a month ago, I hadn't seen him for like a week. So, I forgot that he'd gone to Houston.
Okay.
So then when he came back from Houston, though, he got the flu. And so I called him up and I was like, hey, man, how you doing? He's like, oh, man, I'm sick. I got the flu. And I was like, okay, man, well, I just hadn't seen you. I wanted to check on you. And he was like, oh, I appreciate you checking on me. But that's how we are.
Yes.
If I was saying yesterday, if we don't see Fred at the shop in 3 days, then we like, hey, what's wrong with Fred? Something's wrong.
If he doesn't make it there by 5:30, we think something's wrong.
Right.
That's his nickname, 5 o'clock Fred.
5 o'clock Fred.
Every day at 5 o'clock, he walks in the door.
Right.
5:30, we're wondering, okay, what's happening? People are walking out trying to look and see if
By
he's coming
6,
down the
you
street.
know he's not coming.
He's not coming.
Right.
But then the next day when he shows up, we want to know, where were you yesterday? What happened? That's the type of family you build in a cigar shop.
And it's completely different than that whole mentality of hanging out at a bar.
Yeah, it's totally different.
You know what I mean? Because at a bar, I've done the
speaks.
bar scene back in my younger
The
days.
alcohol speaks.
Yeah, it completely changes you.
With a cigar, you sit back and become who you really are.
And I'll tell you what really got me not to go to bars was when I started smoking cigars. Because a lot of times when you go to a bar, you can have a smoking bar, but you light up a cigar and they start going crazy. It's like, oh, you can't smoke that in here. And I'm like,
why?
Are you crazy?
When you're sitting there smoking all
You
those
wanna
chemicals in the cigarettes.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So anyway, for you guys that are, you've got yourself into smoking cigars here and there, and you want to take that next step into the cigar family, man, go into the cigar shops
And take a seat.
Yeah, take a seat, man. That's the best advice you can get, is because once you sit down, I just hope you're ready for the experience.
Yes,
Because,
yes.
and it's not going to be maybe day 1. Maybe it's going to be day 2.
Or
Maybe
3.
it's going to be day 10.
But it's up to you to open up in order for you even to understand the experience.
Right.
Because if you sit there and you don't say anything, you become that lump on the log. You're going to miss it still.
Well, you know what? It's funny that you say that, though. I think if you go long enough, even if you don't open up, people will get you to open up.
Yeah, because people like you.
Yeah, well, people like me. But you know what's funny is I went by Pop Safari in Fort Worth yesterday, and I sat in a big square. They had like chairs in like probably a 15-foot by 15-foot square, all facing in, And I sat down, and there was probably about 6 or 7 men in their late 60s all sitting around talking. And, as a polite cigar smoker, I'm not just going to sit down.
Did you say polite?
Yes, I did. So, someone who has respect for their elders. Let's go that way.
Okay.
So, anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to these guys, and they're hilarious, man. Everything they say is I'm cracking up. And one of them looks over at me and says, "You got something to say?" And I said, "No, sir." And he goes, "Well, you sure being quiet over there. This isn't a private conversation. You can join in at any time."
That's the cigar shop.
And I was like, man, that's cool. These old guys letting me.
That's the cigar
And you know
shop.
what's funny is I still didn't really say anything.
You
I just wanted to listen because they were just so funny, dude.
You find that the mindsets of letting go, opening up, enjoying yourself and others is a cigar shop. I sit there and like today, if I was there, I'd be smoking this Punch limited edition egg roll. And people will want to find out, okay, what type of cigar is it? How does it taste? What is it like? It's a short one, but this is a great smoke.
Right.
And then it gives you another conversation to have with somebody, because there may be somebody that did not smoke that doesn't understand it. That, oh, no, I'm just stuck on this one. No, as you said about me in the beginning, I used to be that type that was stuck on just Monte Cristos. Not anymore.
Good.
Not anymore. You, Bill, especially Gary, have opened up my mind about other tasting cigars. Other tastes. There are other types. There are other smokes. There are other leaves. And when you get that,
there's guys that smoke the same cigar all their life, and that's fine.
That's on them.
But, for me,
I'm adventurous now.
Yeah, I'm adventurous always. And, the thing about it is I do have my go-tos, but my go-tos are spread out over about 6 different brands.
Mm-hmm.
And, I even love to smoke a 1964 or a 1926 Padron from time to time.
Yes.
But I know, if let's just say money grew on trees and I had 50 trees, that if I smoked Padrones every day, I'd get tired of them.
You would.
I mean, because right now smoking a Padron is special.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if I'm going to spend that money, but what I love about that cigar is it has that Padron unique taste that no other cigar has.
Yes.
And to me, I think that's why the Padrones are as expensive as they are, because nobody has been able to duplicate that taste.
It's like that Harley Davidson sound. Nobody can duplicate it.
Right. So it's been my experience that I like to venture out on all different kinds of cigars, because I smoke. If I haven't smoked it before, I want to smoke it, unless it's infused, flavored, or Kentucky fire cured,
like an acid.
Right. Well, even the Kentucky fire cured, I was at a shop not too long ago that had those, and I had never had one just because I thought, I don't really want to try that. But, me always wanting to try something. I actually tried one, and I tell you what, the first puff, second puff was like, oh, that's interesting. And by the 5th puff, I was like, well, that's going to get old real quick, because it's just Kentucky fire cured wood in your face, the entire smoke. So anyway, later in the show, after we take a break, we are going to talk select draw cutters. He's actually going to supply us with cutters for our giveaway this week. And so we can't wait to hear some different things from him. It's a really cool cutter. I was skeptical at first. They sent me one. I tried it out. Got to tell you guys, I was impressed. I never saw this thing working the way it works, because in my mind, I thought, well, you're never going to get a good draw using that. But sure enough, it actually makes a really nice draw. So we'll give him a call and hear from him. And then we'll be talking to Cigar Man Official a little bit later after that. So we'll be right back after a quick break. Stick around. Don't go anywhere.
Nowhere.
Hey guys, as a quick reminder, go by our Instagram account. You can find us at cigar_talk_podcast, and you can like our pictures, follow us, send us messages. We usually respond within an hour or two. Then also go by our website. It's www.cigartalkpodcast.com. You can register. That way we can send out emails for upcoming events, and also let us know if you have some questions for us. We'd love to answer your questions on the show. Anyway, we appreciate it. Thank you.
This is Mark.
Hey, Mark, this is Rob from Cigar Talk. How are you doing today,
how are
bud?
you, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. You're going to be joining us with, it's myself, Rob Jones, and my co-host tonight is Brian Falconer.
How you doing, Mark?
Doing well. How are you?
All right, you, sir.
Before we called you, we were just talking about your cutter, and, I was telling people that before you sent me one, I was very skeptical, because I hadn't used one before, and I was like, how could 3 little holes make a good draw? And I'm sure you've heard that before.
We have.
And so whenever I tried it out, it worked amazingly, and it's a great-looking piece.
It is a great conversation piece. We get that all the time. It may not fit in your pocket, great, but when you put it on any lounge or any man cave or anywhere, it really starts the conversation. and when you unscrew it, it's on from there.
Well, see, I guess down in Texas we got bigger pockets because
You do have bigger pockets.
it's
You know, we're in Maryland, so we're not too far from Philadelphia or New York City. So we get the big price point up here.
well, I was going to say, y'all must be wearing skinny jeans up there.
Yeah, it's not. It's a little stuffy up here.
Yeah,
I will say that. I'm not going to say that live, but yeah, it is a little stuffy up here. Yeah,
I understand.
and it's great. I appreciate you taking time and fitting me in. I know you said May or June, and I really I do appreciate.
Oh man, it's our
you
pleasure.
Giving us some love and everything like that. And I listened to some of your podcasts. I'm sorry about the time frame. You didn't say Eastern Standard Time. I thought it was your time, but we're here now, and.
Well, we're glad to have you, man. I've been looking forward to having you on the show. So I wanted to share with the audience how you actually got started in developing this cutter. Where did the idea come from? Tell us a little bit about the history.
So I'm a co-founder and our inventor. We came together for this dynamic partnership, and we wanted to create a product, enhance, everybody's smoking sessions, and it came across to get the particles in your mouth for smoking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cap integrity. Doesn't tear your cap. It all prevents particles from entering your mouth. A lot of our customer base have been women, believe it or not. You can increase the draw with the cap, side draw, the punch, the side draw of it, and lastly, you can use it as a pick. So there's a couple different ways you can use the select draw cigar cutter. We've tested. We had an engineer testing the diameter of the prongs. We had so it doesn't the cone-shaped prongs, so it doesn't tear your cap when you're pulling the prongs back from your cigar.
Yeah, and I want to say now too, don't let it fool you. I had no idea how sharp those prongs were. You could actually defend yourself with that thing too.
Well, it's funny. We had a review from a pretty big influencer out in Las Vegas, and he did a great review. I sent him one. I was talking to him for quite some time, and finally he did a review, and he said it's a great looking piece, highly polished, but you can use it as a self-defense weapon.
Absolutely.
I said we do have liability insurance, so as an LLC, and but other than that, yes. So and then we tried a couple different materials. So it's made out of the 770 aircraft aluminum, and the prongs are produced in steel. And we thought the aluminum gives it a lightweight feel in your hand, while the steel prongs are stable and proven, not to dull.
Yeah, and I love the aluminum. It's a beautiful product.
It is. So we pay for an extra. Our manufacturer does an extra highly polishing quality assurance piece for us as well. So when a customer gets the piece, there's no machine marks, there's no pitting on it. We never want a customer to have it with there's striation marks on it or a machine lathe mark on it or anything like that for the mold as they produce them, or any pits.
Okay.
So a lot of so we do a quality assurance. They do a quality assurance. We get them into our distribution center. We do a quality assurance and make sure when we're putting it out to shops and the customers that we take a look at it in our own eyes as well. And it comes in that plastic bag as well, heat sealed from the factory to us. And we take a look at every single one before we unpackage it. And at times we don't unpackage it, and we ship it out.
And then also, you don't just get the cutter; you also get that carry bag that's really nice.
Yeah, so we decided to make it like more of a boutique, and then it started exploding more than a boutique type brand. And we thought, if it's not one of those things you can carry in your pocket, why not carry it in a nice velvet bag? So we started producing the velvet bags with our logo on it, and it gives you an extra added touch with the velvet bag, and when you're getting the cutter, not just the actual cutter.
Yeah, and I thought the bag was a nice touch too, because after I use it, I actually use the bag to clean it.
Okay, yep, you can clean it. It doesn't scratch with the bag. You can put it in your pocket. You can put it in your car. You can put it in your cigar box.
Well, when you're a working man like me out in Texas, sometimes our hands are a little grubby, so we like to use that bag to clean it up and then put it away, and then it's clean and ready for presentation the next time.
Absolutely, so that's good, and I'm glad we have a lot of feedback about the bag, especially with the women. They're putting it in their purses. The guys are putting it in their pockets, even in their jackets. Sometimes in the suit pockets. Sometimes they're leaving it in the cigar box themselves in their humidor.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't really scratch like that. So it's really been a nice touch for us, and we're getting a lot of feedback on that as well. Even we've gotten a lot of feedback from the Europeans too. So
Well, I was
ship
going
all
to
over the
say,
world.
I heard rumor that y'all were like kind of taking off in some other countries.
Yeah, so we shipped out to date as of this April, as of the 1st of April, we shipped out to about 13 different countries. We shipped out. New Zealand is now carrying it. France is now carrying it.
Very nice.
Australia. So I look at all the sales as they come in daily, and then when we look at them, it looks great when they come in from domestically, but then when you're looking internationally, wow, a lady from Australia wants 6.
Wow.
And the shipping is pretty high at times from some of that, and they don't really care about the shipping. They want the product, or the niche product out there. We've shipped a lot to Germany. We shipped to France, Portugal, Switzerland, Warsaw, Poland, Munich, Germany, all around Germany.
Wow.
Australia. So we're getting a lot of, and I always ask, I'm always intrigued by customers, like, where did you hear us in Australia? Where did you get us? So the Instagram has been a huge hit for us from the Instagram. You can really follow.
Instagram
social media.
Social media is just like it opens up the marketplace worldwide.
It does. So all night long I'm getting DM'd about from their time is different than our time across the world, and we're getting a lot of DMs all throughout there, wanting to know a little bit more about the product, wanting a little bit more about our price point, our pricing model, what it actually looks like. Can we get a sample? Looking to buy 50 or 100 for their shop over there. Can we customize it and stuff like that? So we're getting a lot in the U.S. and then exploding in Europe. We never thought that we would ever get that over Europe.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you, just like with the podcast, most people know me from the Instagram account, my Facebook account, and I'm always shocked when I get questions or statements about the show from people from all over the world. And the funny thing is, we selected this episode as one of our lucky listeners. When they answer the trivia question tonight, we'll take a drawing from the first 30 answers that we get are correct, and we're going to actually send them one of your select draws.
That's great. Thank you very much. I was going to mention that as well, going through some of my thoughts for tonight, and I thought, let's give away a select draw cutter to your listener. Matter of fact, let's give 2 away.
Oh, well, that'd be awesome, man.
Here. Let's give 1 away to the listener tonight on there. Let's do another giveaway for you. Let's get the word out even more than there. I do want to also mention we do have an all-black one coming out.
Oh, really?
In the open market. Yeah.
Nice.
So we have an all-black glossy one coming out.
It's glossy?
Yep, so it's a glossy all-black.
Yeah, I like that.
So our manufacturer was putting a couple different black coatings on it, a gunmetal, a black matted, so we went with the glossy.
Very nice.
It's the same functionality, same prongs, same length, but it's going to be coming out about April 15th to be hitting the open market.
That's going to look sharp, man. That's going to look sharp. So, yeah, and I'll tell you what, let's do where we send one of the trivia question winners one, and then we'll do a giveaway on the Instagram account, and we'll make a thing where they visit mine and yours, and then we'll select a random winner from that for the second one, if that sounds good to you.
Sounds great. I'm leaving in your hands. I'll send them to you, and then however you want to do the giveaways, that'd be great. We could all use more traffic as well to the site and more traffic to the Instagram account. But yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. So tell us where people can find you on Instagram and your website, or anywhere that they can find you.
So our social media platform is pretty robust. Our Instagram is really heavy right now. It's Select Draw Cigar Cutters is the handle, is the Instagram account. We do have a small Facebook following as well, but mostly Instagram has really been taking off, and really the Europeans and really being looked at. They can also go to our website at www.selectdrawcigarcutters, and there you can see it's really easy to maneuver. We have a gallery on it. We have a press page. We've gotten some write-ups now from Ministry Cigars and some Europeans. We have one coming out from Busto magazine in Denmark. We have a few other magazines that have been contacted us as well. So look forward to that coming out. And our webpage has some galleries, some pictures, some tutorials. So take a look at that as well, and you can see actually how it's used.
Oh, good, good, yeah.
And take a look at, so we put a lot of marketing time into our website in that as well. It's very easy. We take all major credit cards, PayPal.
Hey, and I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll put a link in my webpage to your website, so any listeners can just go straight to my website, click on the link, and go straight to yours.
That is wonderful. That's wonderful to get that extra added touch. I know you talked to a lot of people and have a lot of reviews on there. So let's go ahead and step it up again. Let's give 3 out to your listeners.
Oh, great, man.
I'm going to send you 3 select draw cigar cutters in the bag, ready to go for tonight, for any listener tonight, and however you want to give them away. If you want to do a giveaway, for Father's Day, Memorial Day weekend, any way you want to give them away here, I'd like to send you 3.
Oh, man, that's awesome. We appreciate that so much, and the listeners appreciate it, and that's one of the things that my listeners know is I'm always getting people that send me stuff, and I just pass it straight on to them because, I can only use so many things, and the show's not about me. It's about the listeners and the community, and so I got one question for you, though. So you have this really cool cutter. What is your cigar of choice to use that cutter on?
So it's the medium-sized ring gauge, larger size ring gauge. You can use the side draw for a torpedo. So if you have a larger gauge cigar, you can do the crisscross. You can do it like a cross. You can do it 6 times. You can do it.
See, I do the crisscross
That's right. So
when you look at it,
popular.
It looks like the dice cut of the number 5.
That's right. And you can do it on the side as well to get more of the draw as well right underneath the cap. And we have a couple pictures on our website as well for that. So you can use it on all sizes of cigars. I hadn't thought about how to use it on a torpedo, so that's interesting. Yep, so you do the one on top of torpedo, and just if you don't even do the one on top, you can do the 3 on the sides and 3 on the sides and 3 on the sides of the actual cigar.
Nice.
Right under the cap. So it gives you a good draw still, fires up really well. Good smoke. A lot of people like heavy smoke. Some people don't. Some people do. I like a lot of heavy smoke within my smoking experience.
Well, we always like to know what other people are smoking. So, what have you been smoking lately?
What have I been smoking lately here? I'm big on the My Father's line. I just got somebody just gave me a blue and green label last night, nice and mild.
Oh yeah, that's the Legrand Fuerte.
You're exactly right. I just had one last night. I fell in love with it. I smoke a lot of Cohiba, Siglio 3s, 6s. I smoke a lot of Ashtons. I'm a mild to medium type smoker. So the Padron Damaso is a good choice of mine. And then, I should say mild medium, but, I'm always smoking the Ashton VSGs and the 26th Padron anniversary. Can't go wrong with the Padron.
Well, it sounds like you're using your cutter the right way because you're using it on a lot of good cigars.
That's correct.
We are. I have a lot of cigars in my collection. I've been smoking for many, many years. So I try a lot of different cigars, but so for us and for anyone, cigar smokers are a creature of habit. So getting somebody to change and look at this cutter and to take a look at, a different than a V cutter or a guillotine cut or some other different cutter, a straight punch, it's really taken us back to where, great, have a look at it, take a look at how it can use how it can use the tool. And really, if it's someone else's cigar toolbox here, we're happy.
Well, what's funny that you say that is before we called you up, we were doing the show, and I asked Bryant what was the one thing that he would give as a tip to new cigar smokers, and he said to just be open. You know what I mean? And don't prejudge and have an open mind so that you can expand your horizons.
Don't box yourself in.
Yeah, you're exactly right. There's many factors going into selecting a cigar for a beginner.
And the same goes for the cutter. When I would
suggest something mild at first and looking into that. But accessories, cutters, or you create the opening in the end cap of your cigar, allows airflow to pass through. There are many cuts, like I was just mentioning, many cuts to your cigar as a beginner or experienced smoker. So don't get boxed in. You're exactly right.
Well, I want to say that I was thoroughly impressed with your cutter, and I was skeptical. And I smoke a lot of cigars, and, I had my certain cuts that I liked. So when you were talking to me about your cutter, I was like, man, I don't know about this. And then when I got it, I actually started taking it up to the shop and showing people because I was like, hey, this is actually an amazing cutter. So I want to say hats off to you. You guys hit a home run with it, brother.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate definitely having us on and your time, and I'm glad that you enjoyed the cutter, and I'm glad we can give your listeners and your followers a free select draw, a couple free select draws, so we can get the word out and have someone else trying to cut her as well.
All right, man. Well, hey, we appreciate you taking the time and being on the show with us, and we definitely appreciate you supporting our listeners. And if there's anything that we can do for you, don't hesitate to ask.
Oh, thank you guys very much for your time, and I appreciate you having me on.
All right, man. Have a good night. I know you got
Thank you very much.
I know you have an event that you're attending right now, so go out there and have a good time, brother.
All right. Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, man. Well, we really appreciate Mark taking his time to join us on the show.
Yes, we do.
And so now let's talk about cigars. What are you smoking today, Bryant?
Today I'm smoking that Punch limited edition egg roll.
You know what's so funny about the egg roll is, I don't know if you know this, but it actually started out as a joke. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they came up with like a marketing thing, and it was kind of a joke because I don't know if you guys know the Punch egg roll, but they're shorties. They're a petite robusto, and they come in a box that looks like a Chinese
food restaurant.
Yeah,
box.
yeah. It's a little, the box with the little handle.
Yes.
And then whenever you take the band off, it has a
Fortune.
What's your fortune say?
My fortune today says you are cleverly disguised as a responsible adult.
And that's perfect for you.
Forget you.
That is perfect for you. One of the ones I had when I smoked one of those was, hard work pays off in the future. Laziness pays off today. Yep. So anyway, I'm smoking a Brick House Maduro. This is one of my daily go-tos because it's a great price point. You're talking about a $6 cigar that got a 93 rating.
Yes.
Smokes good. The draw's great. I think this is one of the most underrated cigars as far as the cigar community goes. And I think it's because it's the price point so cheap
that people overlook it.
They overlook it. And man, I probably smoke at least, I'm going to guess, in the neighborhood of about 5 to 10 a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what drew me to the Punch limited edition, which I hate that it's a limited edition. You only get it once a year.
Oh, I know. And they were $4. $3.99 for a great cigar.
A great cigar. Perfect draw. Great taste.
Yeah, so if you're in a cigar shop and you see these, snatch
them up.
Because you could not grow your own tobacco and roll them that cheap.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. And then the marketing, like you said, the marketing of it, putting it in a Chinese food box, having a fortune with it, it just brings the entire genre out there.
It makes it fun.
Yeah, because we were sitting back there when they first brought them out. We were sitting back there. Everybody wanted to hear each other's fortune.
Right. And
joking about it.
Well, what was funny when they first brought them out in that little
Chinese food box,
I was like, what the hell is this? And so it turned out it was a really good cigar.
Oh, yes.
So anyway, let's talk about some of the other cigars that you smoke on a regular basis. What's like? Give me two of your go-tos.
My go-to, Steel Horse Flathead, and
you have too many to pick from. I
yes,
know.
because I go to that shop and I just sit there, and today I'll try this, today I'll try that. But the Steel Horse Flathead and
go ahead and say the Monte Cristo, because I know that's your go-to.
The number 2. I love that cigar. I just love everything about it.
And so, you know what's funny about that? I don't even know if I've smoked a Monte Cristo number 2, just because I'm not a Monte Cristo guy. And you know how you know how you have those? I guess it's like a mental block.
I'm not talking to you right now.
When I see Monte Cristo, I just keep on walking. Yeah.
No, sometimes you need, like you told me, sometimes you need to stop.
You're right. But someone even said to me that, man, you like a lot of the boutique cigars, and I do. Monte Cristo's been around since before I was born, probably, and I've been around for a while. But anyway, it's that whole line of Monte Cristo, Romeo Julieta, a lot of those brands, Macanudo, they just don't really appeal to me. And I'm not real sure why. Now, I have smoked like some Romeo and Julietas that I like, but it's not my go-to.
My go-to is that number 2, and like I said, Steel Horse Flathead. It's something
now, I do like the Steel Horse.
I could just sit back, and with the Steel Horse, you're going to get a long, nice smoke. You're going to be able to enjoy it. And like you say, you couple it with a good cup of coffee, Nicaraguan blend.
Hey, man, I'm with you on the coffee.
You just sit there and the conversation starts on its own. Especially with a newbie, they walk in and see you with this long cigar, this long stick hanging out your face. Like, oh, what is that? And you give them a little education on it.
And then when I'm sitting there, I'm like, you don't want to smoke that.
Yeah. And then you look up and he's got one in his bag.
Right. So, for me, my go-tos, and I've talked a lot about Roma Craft. You know, I love Roma Craft.
Cabinet number 6.
And well,
That's
the
where
LFD,
you
I
at.
love the Cabinet 6, but we don't ever have those because they're hard to find. But as far as Roma Craft, you know, really they don't make a cigar that I don't enjoy.
Okay.
I like the Intemperance Connecticut, which
yeah.
is not my regular go-to, but I do like those if I'm in the mood for something a little bit lighter. And I'll also tell you, as a Connecticut, the Intemperance from Roma Craft, their Connecticut is not your father's Connecticut. It's got a little kick to it.
It does.
So I enjoy those. Great construction. Their wrapper is not as thin as a lot of other Connecticut's.
And that's the conversation that you have with people about certain cigars. You know, you have people that love the bite and some that don't.
Right. Some people want a Connecticut that's smooth and creamy.
Yep.
So, yeah. But then and I even enjoy the smooth and creamy Connecticut from time to time. That
I can't believe that.
True, man. The La Galera Connecticut.
I've seen you smoking
Dude,
those.
To me, that should be a 90 rated cigar or better.
What is the rate?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the construction is fabulous.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's amazing. It smokes perfect. I've never had a bad one, and that's one of the reasons when you find a cigar that is the construction is perfect every time.
The draw
and
is good.
The flavor profile is consistent.
Oh
Man, that's going to be a go-to for me, even if it's not one of my norms.
Especially when it gives you that flavor through the second half.
And the price point on it. I mean, you're getting a Toro for like $6.50. I mean, you can't beat that.
Nope.
And so if I'm going in to have coffee, I'm going to pick up a couple of those.
And spend your time. And see, he said at least.
So, but okay, so Roma Craft, my go-to on the Roma Craft is the Cro-Magnon Aquitaine. That's a beautiful cigar. It's got a medium to a medium full profile, more on the medium side.
Yeah.
But it's a great smoke, and I mean, it's just perfect every time. Now, also you have the Cro-Magnon, which is going to be your full-bodied.
And I love those.
And then, have you had one of the Neanderthals?
Yes, I've had a Neanderthal, and I love the Neanderthal. You brought me up on that one, too.
Okay, the Neanderthal, I love those as well. And my favorite Neanderthal is the Genetic Deformity.
Yeah.
That one is so cool. It's a smaller, petite Neanderthal, so you're getting that full power punch on a small cigar.
Yep.
So I love Roma Craft. Everybody knows that. And then also, I'm a huge Perdomo fan because their quality is just so nice. And that's Perdomo's kind of tied with my father. I love just about everything my father does. My favorite, my father, is going to be the Lee Bijou 1922,
Yes.
which I like the Torpedo, and it's full flavor. Man, it's when I say full flavor, it's full of flavor, and it's got a lot of nicotine in it. So I mean, it's a full profile all the way around. So let's talk about what we pair our cigars with. For me, my number one pairing is going to be with black coffee. I do, and you know what's funny is I don't see myself as a coffee snob, but in definition, I think I am.
Yes, because there are certain
one,
types.
Well, I only drink coffee. Well, I say only. Most of the time, I only drink coffee at the Leaf because their coffee is so good. When I go anywhere else and try it, I'm like, ugh, that's horrible.
You definitely can taste the difference.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I don't drink coffee at home unless I'm at the Leaf first and I bring coffee back. And my wife, in fact, last night I had to stay up and do some editing for the show, and my wife was like, "You want me to make you a cup of coffee?" And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "All right, make me a cup of coffee." So she made it. I took one drink and I was like, "Get me some tea."
You don't like that Folgers?
No, she has one of those Keurigs.
Oh, okay.
And I hate the Keurig coffee because to me, it's water with a little bit of coffee flavor. Now, I know there's a lot of people who are diehard Keurig coffee drinkers, and there's nothing wrong with that. All I have to say is you're not really a coffee drinker.
No, you're not.
And if you want to write me some dirty emails about that, go ahead. I'd love to read them on the air.
On the coffee aspect of it, I love it black also. But then you have these individuals that drink.
That's because Bryant loves everything black.
As black as you get it. Anyway. But you have people that drink coffee and you look at it and it's like, that's chocolate milk.
Oh, yeah. Don't ruin your coffee with putting stuff in it.
And then they over pour cream and 4 and 5 sugars. I'm like, why don't you just get you some syrup and drink it then?
Yeah. Now, you know what? But I'm a firm believer in everyone has the right to do what they want
to do.
So, if you want to do whatever it is that you do with your coffee, go for it, knock yourself out. But I'm not doing it. I'm a purist. I want, and that's one of the reasons I don't drink. I don't smoke infused cigars because I want to taste the tobacco. I don't want to taste some lemony snicket shoved into a cigar. So
what's that cigar?
Now there is a Macanudo.
No, not that one. The one that's the grape.
I have no idea. That sounds disgusting.
That's the one you hate. Oh God, the fruit. I'm trying to think.
Let me tell you something. If there's a cigar that has grape flavor, that would be the first time if I see you smoking one, I'd probably punch you in the face. I'm just telling you right now.
I can't remember the name of it, but I intentionally smoked it by you in the leaf one day. You got up and walked to the back.
Yeah, because that's disgusting. You might as well be selling cotton candy instead of a cigar.
It was so funny because everyone in the leaf knew what I was getting ready to do. And when I started smoking it, he was like, what the? And you just got up and left, and everybody fell out laughing. It was just like, that's the community.
Yeah, that's offensive. That's what that is.
But when I love to pair mine with is, like you said, a nice Nicaraguan blend coffee to just sit back and enjoy myself. The coffee, it accentuates the taste of the cigar. You want something that makes the cigar, even though it's something that I love and I smoke daily, but every once in a while I want something to accentuate that taste, to make it just a little bit better, to give me a different taste. That's what I love about the Leaf, because they have so many different types of coffees. The Costa Rican, the Nicaraguan, you get that blend, and he say, okay, well this would taste better with the Flat House, or this would taste better with that number 2. Being able to couple those together with something and then enjoy it, that's what it's about.
Oh, heck yeah. And, also what I'd love to do, especially on the weekends, like right now we have the Masters going on.
Yeah.
Man, sporting events
especially
with cigars,
especially golf.
Coffee or bourbon. Man, you sit back and when you get to watch a sporting event with your cigar community, man, that's what's fun. That's a blast.
Taking it back to the last Super Bowl, we were sitting there watching it and how everybody reacted, but it was still the enjoyment of your stick.
Right.
And with me, my cup of coffee at that time. And
we were all ragging on Brady, so,
ragging on Brady. And then he comes out in the end. Anyway.
We knew he was going to win.
Yeah.
But I'll back it up. How about, because I want to give big props to Texas Tech Red Raider basketball.
Yeah.
They came up short in the final game, but they had a chance. The last, I'd say, a minute and a half, I thought they were going to win. And then they let Virginia shoot a three-pointer that just broke my heart. Because I knew if we went into overtime,
they had a chance to win it because of that defense.
Right.
But we were sitting, I was actually up there at the lead. The way people were reacting about this is one thing I learned about when I got here to Texas. Texas is a place that has a religion based on their football. And whichever Texas team is playing at that time.
Amen. Amen, brother. Preach it. Preach it.
It doesn't matter. Whichever Texas team is playing at that time, everybody is for them.
We haven't had a basketball team make the finals since 1986, I believe. And we haven't had a Texas team win the final since 1966. Wow. So for Tech to be even in the game was a huge accomplishment. And I can't wait to see what that coach does at Texas Tech next year, because from what I have read, the talent level just goes up. Now, on another note, I think that now that they've made it to the championship,
You gotta keep
their
that fire.
their recruiting
Yeah.
is going to
Oh.
go way up.
Come on now, you made it to the finals.
Right. You made it. And the year before, they made it to the eight.
Yep, Elite
so
Eight.
I see Texas Tech have an opportunity, as long as they keep their coach, of going into that blue chip realm of basketball.
But it's changing the mindset of Texas Tech. You know, Lubbock has a different mindset, and it's based on that college. It's based on that college.
Oh, yeah.
And then you saw, when you looked at the game, you saw Mahomes in the
I
stands.
know.
And the thing that had me dying laughing was he put that tape over his he had an Under Armour shirt on, but he put the tape over it and had Adidas on. Marketing
Right,
again.
right.
But it was that fire. No matter what, he's always going to be a Red Raider. No matter what.
All right, man. So let's shift gears here. I do a separate segment on the finishing out the show, but Bryant's here with us today in the studio, so we'll just go ahead and roll on. This week's Cigar of the Week is going to be the Casa Fernandez Aganorsa leaf cigar. I like it in the Maduro. I also like it in the Corojo. And let me just tell you, if you haven't had one, it's a box press. It's a beautiful cigar. And I just had the opportunity to try this cigar about 2 weeks ago. And since then, every cigar shop I go to, I look for it because it's a home run. Oh, and the great news is, after I smoked the cigar, I actually saw the vice president of their company on LinkedIn, so I reached out to him and asked him if we could do an interview, and April 22nd, we're going to have him on the show.
There you go.
So he's got a rich story for their cigar community and their family, so we can't wait to have him on the show. Now, later today, we're actually going to be at the Leaf, and we're going to do an interview with John and Scott from Warfighter Cigars. Yeah.
Yes.
And I love these guys. They're a couple of veterans that started a cigar company, and they're very involved with Cigar for Warriors. So we want to give props to those guys. If you're looking for cigars for warriors, you can go to our website, go to our website, cigartalkpodcast.com. Look on our friends page. You can go down and find a link for the Cigars for Warriors. And you know, I'm always preaching this. You got to contact your senators and let them know to support Article S9, which takes the cigars, premium cigars, out of the hands of the FDA.
Yep.
Marco Rubio just did a big speech, had a bunch of people from the industry come in and talk to the Senate, and hopefully we're going to get premium cigars taken out of the FDA's hands. That's going to be a huge win for us if we can get that to happen, and that is going to stem from grassroots getting up, contacting your senators. And if you want to become part of Cigar Rights for America, go to my webpage as well and look under friends, and you can find Cigar Rights of Americans link. Join them up. It's only $25.
Yes, it is.
They send you 2 cigars. So basically you're getting a year membership and you're getting 2 cigars, and they send you a membership card. And that way we support people who have a voice for us on the level of the Congress and Senate. So anyway, let's do our cigar talk trivia question for the week. If you can tell me now, I've changed it up because a bunch of people were emailing me saying that they couldn't listen to the show until like Monday or Tuesday, and the winner kept happening on Saturday because like I would get an email within like 2 minutes of the show coming out, and people were going to the end, getting the answer and sending it to me. So they were complaining, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen. We're going to change things up. So now what we do is we take the first 30 people to answer the question correctly. We put them in a drawing, and this week they're going to win. I'm actually going to send out 2 free select draw cutters to the 2 lucky people that we draw out of the winners from the Cigar Talk Trivia. So this week's question is, if you go back and listen to any of the shows, tell me what shop and what city I've done a show at that was outside of Texas. If you can tell me the name of the shop and the city, then no, Bryant, you don't get to answer. So if you can tell me where that is, the name of the shop, and be the first 30 that send us, we're going to do a drawing and send you a Select Draw cutter. We want to say thank you again to Mark over at Select Draw. We appreciate them partnering up with us on the giveaway, and can't say enough about those guys and their product.
Yes,
they
sir.
do a great job.
Great cut.
And next week on the show, we're going to have Smokin' Brad from Lubbock in Good Karma. He went down to Honduras and took a tobacco farm factory tour. So we appreciate you sticking in with us. And till next week, keep smoking, my friends.
Thank you.